What's up, YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Zapdos Galar in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's some Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section. If you enjoy these, they help you out, drop a like, and let's get into it. So, our first set here is going to be a Choice Banded set. So, Zapdos Galar, which is different to normal Zapdos, is more of a physical attacker compared to a special attacker. So we've got a big, fat 125 base attack and 100 base and speed, which is going to be very nice as a speedy physical attacker. We've got the ability Defiant, which is good on this Pokemon, and it can be useful as a lead and against other Intimidate Pokemon too, or sticky webs or any speed drops and stuff like that, giving it a +2 boost in its stat, which is going to be super handy. Now, let's have a look at what kind of terrors we can give it and what moves that we can go for here. So, there's an option for its main fighting move. You can either pick from Thunderous Kick or Close Combat. I actually quite like Thunderous Kick because you've got a 100% chance to drop the defense of the opponent, right? So if someone's trying to stall you out and we're a very defensive Pokemon, this is where this can come in handy a lot compared to something like Close Combat. Close Combat does have better base power for sure, but this can drop the defense as well, which could be useful in a situation where you're locked into using a fighting move that's not very effective, but the opponent has, say, 2 Pokemon left. They're both weak to fighting, but you have to get around a not very effective type matchup. So that sort of thing. So Thunderous Kick with 90 base power, or you've got Close Combat at 120 base. Obviously, you've got the drawback of having your defenses dropped with Close Combat. So it's either one of them. You're either just going for crazy base power, or you're going for still really good base power, but no drops on your defenses, that sort of thing. The other move we've got there, of course, is Brave Bird, 120 base power, excellent move. You got some nasty recall, but that's about it. U-Turn is a great move on Zapdos Galar for any scouting or momentum, and you've got Knock Off as the last move. I like to put a Dark type move on there because it being a fighting and flying Pokemon, it's good for any psychic types, and it's also good for getting rid of any annoying items on Pokemon, say, a Leftovers and Everlight, stuff like that, which could be, beneficial towards maybe, the latter stages of the battle. Now, there's a couple of terrors that you can run with this as well. So, you've got the option of doing Terra Dark for any Psychic type Pokemon. So what you can do, say a Psychic type comes in there, you can go Terra Dark, and then you can get, say even if they're faster than you or whatnot, you can go for that Terra Dark and take no damage at all and possibly one shot. The only weakness to this is being a fighting and a flying type, you are weak to Fairy. So Terra Dark that isn't so good against Fairy type Pokemon. So that's one of the weaknesses there. Probably the best Terra I like to run of there, a more of a defensive one, is Steel, for that main reason, right? So Ice is not going to be super effective against you. Psychic is not going to be super effective against you. Fairy is not going to be super effective against you. Rock is not going to be, you got like the neutral. Trying to think there's anything else. No, that's pretty much it. So those main sort of type disadvantages there. So Steel, I believe, is the best defensive typing for Zapdos Galar. The more offensive typing is Dark, or I will go with Flying or Fighting. So Flying for Brave Bird, and then we have Fighting, obviously, for Close Combat. So they're probably some of your options to go for there. I can't really think of any other ones which would be good in this situation. I don't think Terra type Bug will be any good, but yeah, something like that would be good. That's going to be working nicely on Zapdos' typing and its moves it learns. So the EV spread is pretty simple for this one. We've got max attack and max speed, Jolly Nature, 252s. That works well all round there. It's a sweeping Pokemon, so it just works well with having 252s on either side, even in doubles, honestly. So that's definitely more. You could definitely work this in doubles, but this is sort of focused around a singles build because there are a couple of moves it can use in doubles and stuff like that. But let's check out the next sort of set here. Okay, the next set here we've got is a bulk up set. So it does learn the move bulk up, which can be, you know, kind of nice there. So with bulk up, you can actually run it as a speedy sweeper with bulk up. So this one is definitely hyper focused more for singles, you know, compared to the choice band one, which can work in singles and doubles and other formats and stuff like that. Okay, back to this one. So, as you can see, we've got bulk up there, so you can use close combat or thunderous kick. The good thing about bulk up is, you know, you can actually use close combat and still have, you know, the neutral stat boost there, at least for one turn if you've used it once already, or you can put thunderous kick on there. Brave Bird, obviously Brave Bird is on every single Zapdos Galar set, and Trailblaze. It actually does get Trailblaze, so it does get a way to increase its speed, so without it relying on a choice scarf or something like that, or a tailwind and stuff like that. So that can be a way to make it even faster. And you've got Citrus Berry on there, so Citrus Berry is useful. Why you're using, you know, bulk up and stuff like that, you're able to retain a bit of health. Or another good item on there, I always like Lumberry on physical attackers if they're not choiced and stuff like that. So you could go Lumberry. So this makes you at least immune to a one turn of Will-O-Wisp or something, or getting a paralysis or something like that. Those sort of things. Terra Fighting, or yeah, I'd go Terra Fighting or Flying on this set. That works pretty well. And yeah, 252 EVs. I ran Adamant on this, so for more offense in attack, because we do have Trailblaze to increase our speed as well. So just another way of running Zapdos Galar. Let's have a look at some double sets now. Okay, so this set, actually we've got 3 doubles VGC style sets here, so we'll have a look at them. So Zapdos Galar does have acrobatics as well. So acrobatics can be useful on consumable items, and this can work in doubles quite well. So this one, I'm going to be running a Trick Room set here for Zapdos Galar. So, I mean, you don't have to run it if you don't want to, but you can. You can run it Trick Room or normal. It can work both ways, actually. So we've got Acrobatics, which is a very, very powerful move there. And then we've got Thunderous Kick. So you can do Thunderous Kick or Close Combat, whatever you like there. They're both powerful moves. U-Turn and Detect. So Detect is just a fancy Protect, really. Just a fighting type move, but it still does the same thing. So yeah, it has that. So you've got Acrobatics and you've got Electric Seed. Now, this is useful if you've got a Pokemon such as Miraidon, who's put an electric terrain in the field. I don't know, let's say this was another generation, Tapu Koko, something that has electric terrain, Pinchurchin, those sort of things. So once that's activated, you'll get a defensive boost by one stage, and then Acrobatics will go from 55 base power and it'll double. So you'll have the 110 base power Acrobatics, which is good. And you're going to be hitting very, very hard with that if you go Terra Flying as well. Now, you've got U-Turn there as well, which is just there as a, not such a favorable matchup. So you probably don't want to burn your Electric Seed off. So maybe you could, use this before you send your Electric Terrain Pokemon. So maybe leave with it in U-Turn, or go Detect on turn 1, just in case there's any fake out users, or just to scout out what moves there are. Then go U-Turn, and then bring it back in after the Electric Trainers on the field. That sort of thing. So for this one, I've gone real bulky because we are running Trick Room. So we've got Health and Attack, Max Health and Max Attack, Brave Nature, and 0 IVs in Speed, or closest you can get. And yeah, that's another way of running this. Now, it does have 100 base speed, so it can still be outsped. So there are options here too if you want to go Room Service. That could work as well. So if you could do Trick Room there as well and have that, but that's just another option. I've sort of covered that on another build there. So if you want to try out Trick Room, you possibly could there as well. I just wanted to give you guys some different stuff, so rather than, this sort of Choice Band set can work too. I'll just say that straight up. Choice Band, Choice Scarf set, absolutely that can work in doubles too. Just want to give you some extra stuff and different things. So we've got Terra-type Flying here, which is going to be, well, obviously it's going to be useful there. You've got Choice Scarf, you've got Focus Sash, you've got Covert Cloak, can all work on this set here. I'm just going to use this single set as an example for a speedier one. So you got Choice Band or Choice Scarf. You can still do this. You can even do Sash. Sash could work as well. So you could do Focus Sash, and you could even swap up Brave Bird for Acrobatics if you really want to, because that would make a lot more sense than just having Brave Bird and dying. You know, that could work a lot better. And then you could also have Covert Cloak on there as another item too. So that just some different items if you'd you want to do that. I'm trying to think of some other ones. You could have Life Orb on there as well, a more offensive set with Life Orb, just going straight for it, doing maximum damage with Brave Bird, just doing insane amounts of damage. So that could work for doubles too. I just wanted to put that on there before we start going to like Trick Room and low speed Zapdos Galar. So that's our first double set. Let's have a look at the next one. So this one's going to be a faster one, and we're going to be trying to make use of the item Adrenaline Orb. So I thought Adrenaline Orb and Defiant make a pretty nice combination, actually. So with Defiant, as you know, if this Pokemon's attack is going to get erased by 2 stages if it's lowered. So what that means is, say if something comes in with Intimidate and drops your attack, you're going to get a +2. So then you have a +1. So I thought, well, Adrenaline Orb could work really well with that too, because what happens with Adrenaline Orb, it actually raises your speed by 1 stage if you get affected by Intimidate. So I was like, Defiant getting affected by Intimidate and then Adrenaline Orb, so it sort of stacks and it's kind of nice there. It is, I know it is more, it's a lower chance of it happening, a little bit more niche, but there are a few quite popular Pokemon out there with Intimidate, like Incineroar, so that could be another option for you to try out there. And we've got Thunderous Kick, Brave Bird, and we also have Coaching on this set. So I thought you could go for Terra Steel here just to cover its weaknesses, and you could even try and use Terra Steel 1 turn and go for Coaching on another Pokemon, like an ally. So you can raise an ally's attack and defense by 1 stage. So you're virtually, you're giving them a bulk up, basically. So just, kind of helping out your ally there. And it'll be kind of an unsuspecting move to use too on a physical set. But this one's more, it's a sweeping set, sure, with Jolly Nature and Max Attack, but it's also got some support there with Coaching. And I put Detect on there too. It's still got its main 2 stab moves. You could put Close Combat on there if you wanted to as well. And then you've got Adrenaline Orb and Defiant. So that could be useful, and it could work with its ability. And if an Intimidate user comes in, well, you get like a +1 after the Intimidate drop, or you may even get more if you get like another drop, and then you've got Adrenaline Orb to increase your speed even further too. So then you'll be able to outspeed stuff like Flutter Mane and go Terra Steel. That could be useful, Then you could live a Dazzling Gleam and then go for a Brave Bird, stuff like that. Let's have a look now at our next double set here. All right, so I already sort of did this. So this one's sort of just a straight up Scarf set. I didn't think that I covered this, but I did. So this is Scarf. So we got Brave Bird, Thunderous, or Close Combat Knockoff in U-turn with Defiant. Terra type Flying. So a very, very straightforward set. Sometimes a lot of the time the 252s aren't good in singles, but they're not so great in doubles because you need to sometimes need to live kind of certain things or outspeed certain Pokemon or have extra bulk to live certain hits. So in this case, it's a hyper offensive Pokemon, and Choice Scarf or Choice Band can work really, really well. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Another good item you could put on here, I was thinking too. If you were to do, I was thinking like I actually didn't cover the Trick Room set. Let's cover a Trick Room set. So you could do Electric Seed, and we could do Room Service on here as well. So under Trick Room, instead of having, how I was talking about Electric Terrain and Electric Seed, instead of having an Electric Terrain user, you then have a Trick Room user. And that will be a Psychic type Pokemon most of the time. So something like, let's say, Hatterene could work well, and then Hatterene can also be a useful Pokemon there as well as an ally or to swap into, for its weaknesses and such like that. So that could be beneficial for sure. Or Indeedee would be a good one too. That could work too. But I'll do some more partners and stuff like that in the latter ends of the video. So that's another way to run the Zapdos, if you like. And let's have a look at a PIMPNITE special, and then we'll go over some So you have some teammates encounters and other thoughts and stuff like that. All right, we got the PIMPNITE special here, everyone. Now, if you haven't watched these videos before, I always like to do at least one PIMPNITE special, which is a really out there, fun meme sort of set. And this is a special Zapdos Galar. Now, it has a thumping 85 base special attack. So we're going to try and make this work, right? So we got max special attack and max speed, timid nature. I like timid on there so it can go first. So it does get Hurricane, which is pretty cool. And it also gets ancient power, like normal Zapdos, I believe. And then you can try and boost up your special attack stat. And obviously, if you get an Omni boost, you'll be, be pretty tanky. We got Terra Blast Water, which is definitely more of a defensive Terra for sure. And you can actually use this in the rain too. So you could get, let's say you've got like Pelipper or Kyogre or something like that, or a Rain Dance team or rain team in general. You could have 100% Hurricanes. You could have that Terra Blast Water getting powered up. And you could even do your own Rain Dance with Rain Dance there as well. Unfortunately, it only has one ability, being Defiant, so I can't really give it a beneficial ability. Slap on that Splash Plate, boost up that Water Terra Blast even more. Ooh, it's going to do some damage. So there you go. Incredible PIMPNITE special set there. Got that Splash Plate Zapdos. Let's do some team discussion now. Okay. So for singles, let's start with some singles and even doubles as well. I would say Goldengo was a good partner. We'll do some good partners here. So this kind of gets around a lot of Zapdos's weaknesses too. It is obviously weak to ice and stuff like that as well. So that's going to be useful. Fairy type. So they're not going to like this at all. So this can work well. I've done a Goldengo guide already. Won't go too much into the build, but it could work well with Make It Rain alongside it. Or in singles, it can be a good swap in for it as well. So those work pretty nice together for sure. You could also have... so you can use that as your defensive pivot for all those weak moves. That's pretty much what I'm talking about there. Another good one you could have, I was thinking, would be Toxapex as well. That would be useful just at tanking any of those not very effective moves, but I'd have to watch out for any Psychic type Pokemon as well. So you'd probably need say like Zapdos, Toxapex, and then Goldengo could work well together too. So that could be some useful ones there too. So there's a couple of teammates. Another couple that would be good, say, in doubles would be Amoonguss. Amoonguss could be very good at just redirectional moves and stuff, while Zapdos just, plows through the opponent's team. That can be very, very good. Another one is Fluttermane as well. Fluttermane is good on like every team, but that can definitely be a good partner as well. Probably the Amoonguss would be good. Amoonguss would be good here if you were to set up, that bulk up set I was talking about. Maybe not Trailblaze. If you didn't want Trailblaze, you could swap it for Detect or something like that. But, in that situation, you could set up Rage Powders while it sets up bulk up. That's probably would be one of the better uses for it. All kinds of some more teams. So I would say Zacian would make a very, very good, or Zacian Crown would make a good partner as well. Just covering all of its weaknesses, basically. That would make an excellent partner, for sure. I would say Raging Bolt as well, because Raging Bolt can get around. It is weak to flying as well, so Raging Bolt would sort of fix that. That would be good. Indeedee F would be good on the Trick Room sets, for sure. For the I've done those. I've done those 3 Pokemon guides as well. Champ Power would be good as well. There's a lot of Pokemon that would be good alongside Zapdos. So there is some ideas. Even Farigiraf would be good too. So some Pokemon that can counter it. It's pretty easy for this to be countered. So I was gonna say Fluttermane is a great counter for it as well. That's a good counter. And I would say more of a niche counter, maybe a Spartha. So you could have a Spartha. Those like bulky speed boost sets. I have done one already. Like those tanky speed boost sets with stored power. That could be a good counter for it. Anything like that. So basically, like psychic types, fairy type Pokemon, it's gonna have a trouble against that. Ice type Pokemon, Champao, unless it's Scarfed, it won't be able to get around Champao. But Champao generally runs Focus Sash a lot of the time. So yeah, there's some good counters there for you, for sure. Any speedy electric type Pokemon as well, like Miraidon, that's going to be a massive problem. Like even something that's nowhere near as good as Miraidon, like Sandy Shocks, right? That's going to be a good counter as well. So there's definitely a couple of Pokemon that can definitely deal with that. Let's have a check at some of its moves real quick. See if we can do some last minute thoughts on this Pokemon. Okay, we'll check out its status move. So it does have access to agility, so you could try an agility set. So maybe like Adamant Nature, max. Let's do one right now. You could do something like this if you want it to be fast. So it's already got a lot in speed. So you could do like, let's do like 52 in like, let's say we do 52 in speed. And then we go Adamant Nature. So you got enough in there in speed to outspeed some other things if the agility hasn't kicked in yet. And after the agility, you can outspeed virtually everything there. Maybe outside of a Regieleki. Maybe you'd have to put a few more EVs in for Regieleki, but that would pretty much outspeed everything. You could just go like, Close Combat, Brave Bird. Virtually it uses those two moves. They're its main moves it's going to use. And maybe something like Knock Off if you want coverage as well. So that would be more of like a single set you could run. Something like along those lines. Doubles, you might want to drop it back to Detect. Something like that, right? So that's another way you could run it with agility, I guess. If you want a fast one, you don't have to have like Choice Scarf attached. We've gone over most of these moves. It does get Screen, but that's not so great. It does get Tailwind too. I did actually forget to mention that. So you could put on this coaching one or any of these ones really. You could put Tailwind, obviously not the Trick Room one, but you could always slide on Tailwind on there as well if you weren't running coaching. That could definitely work. Even on this one I was talking about before, that agility one, instead of agility, you could have Tailwind instead. So that could be like the doubles version of it. And then, the singles one, you could use agility. It does get Taunt as well, which is interesting. So you might be able to make use of Taunt. Is it fast enough? Is it using up its potential there? I think it is. It's better as a physical attacker. I think it does a better job on that role. It does get Quick Guard as well, which is interesting. So it can have Quick Guard if you want to stop any priority moves. But you can get around that having, Psychic Terrain in the field with Indeedee or Pharaoh Giraffe. So that might be a waste. Looking at its physical moves now. We went over Acrobatics, so you can always consume an item. You can even consume an item with Citrus Berry. Brave Bird, that's pretty much on all of them. Brick Break, there's no real point running Brick Break. Unless you're after, like, breaking a Scream from, like, a Lola Ninetales or something like that. Or Veil and stuff like that. So, where are we here? So we got Close Combat that's on every set. It does get Endeavor, which could be useful on, like, a Focus Sash variant, maybe. If you had a Focus Sash variant set, like this. And then you sort of get rid of... I don't know if you get rid of Knock. You could put an Endeavor on there as like a surprise. That could be useful. Only if you're running Focus Sash. I wouldn't run it. Like any reason to run it apart from that. But then again, are you making the most of that move slot with its big attack stat is another thing you got to sort of realize there. It does get Low Kick, but there's no real point there. It's better off just going Close Combat or Thunderous Kick. We have gone over Trailblaze already. Throat Drop's kind of interesting if you were to come up against something like, Sylveon with Hyper Voice. That could be useful, but niche. You may not come across that Pokemon, and then you could have Knockoff on there, which could be more useful. So that's another option there. And we've got... That's pretty much it. It does have Dual Wing Beat as well. at 80, but, you know, you've got, you know, 2 hits at 40 base power, so, and it's got aerial ace too, but I don't think there's any point running those. You know, it's probably better just going for raw damage on, you know, on the Brave Bird there. There's this amazing special moveset. It's absolutely terrible. That's why I tried to do that special one. But yeah, it's not a special attacker, but it only learns 5 moves. Ooh, you can go Terra Normal Swift, get that normal gem on there, and just, you know, instantly win. But anyway, yeah, that is the that's the end of Zapdos Galar. I say this mainly, it sort of shines as a speedy physical attacker. Close combat Brave Bird spam, it's going to work nicely. It has momentum with U-turn, and it's got a way to hit psychic types with knockoff as well. It can be a good bulk up Pokemon too, and you can even try and use agility or Trailblaze to boost its speed. In doubles, it can actually work under Trick Room, and it's got a pretty powerful acrobatics if you're able to consume an item like, say, Electric Seed or Room Service or Citrus Berry. Overall, a good Pokemon for sure. And I think I'll do the remaining legendary birds in the upcoming days. That's about it, everyone. If you've got anything to add, put it below in the comments. If you want to see a Pokemon, you want to see me cover it, put it below there too. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.